I'm all up for more Dragon Joe hype. I'm perfectly fine with that. Like this chapter, like Laguna joining up and then being able to give us some good clarification on stuff that happened in the previous arc in the fight against Dragon Joe. I mean, like I'm always okay with certain things like they didn't beat him at full power because it just kind of like it adds more to the characters in the future. It gives more kind of like credit towards this big character and what they're what level they're at, what they're able to perform at, and it really is going to be able to still maintain a lot of hype for Poseidon and Elsie and stuff, because it was like if Shiki could just run through them already, then where's the threat with them? But we find out from Laguna that part of the reason that they were able to defeat Dragon Joe was because of the fact that they destroyed the machine, that helped keep his ether in balance, as well as defeating the Element Four. Definitely, like he should have been a little bit more cautious with that, but I think he was very much underestimating his opponents. If it wasn't for that fact, I think he would have kept his Element 4 a little bit closer, a little less kind of, loosely out there to where they were, taken down and taking Shiki a lot more seriously. Because, like I said, definitely part of the issue was not just, destroying his machine, but also defeating the Element 4 because he needed them to balance his ether. And that's why we saw him kind of just lose control, become this giant monster. And turns out that version was weaker than where he was actually at. That was, just him in some unstable condition. So I definitely am alright with finding this out. Finding out that Dragon Joe was not at his full power, build some hype up for the enemy in the future, saves a little bit of face for Dragon Joe, and if he ever comes back, that'll just mean that we can see more and like a higher level of his full capabilities. But in this one, like we find out more about Nadia, as well as the engineer that helped her, like Andrew, this guy. He said it was like 200 years ago. I guess she doesn't know how long humans live because I guess she's like still wanting to wait for him. Like, it's an unfortunate robot. That's I'm pretty sad for her. She like, how does she not know how long humans live? Like, I feel like she should have like a pretty fair amount of like intelligence. But I guess as a robot, it would really just depend on what your programming is, and if it's not required for whatever your task is, whatever your programming is more leaning towards, it would make sense of why it's like, oh, we didn't put that in there because why would we need her to know that kind of stuff? But like she explains how the treasure that was stolen used to power up all the machines in this place, and 200, I think she said it was 20 years ago that the machine was stolen, or the not machine, the treasure was stolen, which dropped all the other bots. And because Andrew, she was able to keep moving. Like the cord that she has connected to her body is pretty much the only thing keeping her going. Which, and it's like pretty sad. That means that for a while she's been stuck on this cord, stuck just completely like linked to this thing. And hey, this guy's got to be a boring life for her. She probably just doesn't have really anything to do. Like, she seems extremely well kept for somebody who has to deal with this kind of shit on a regular basis. I mean, I guess she is in fact a robot. She's not going to be like perceiving time and these events is the same as a person would, but still, like, it's like, geez. I did like the stuff with her and Andrew. I'm hoping that this like little side plot of her love for this human, it's you got a relationship set up between a human and a robot, which, like I said, android, she's more human, she's human like. I definitely want to see that go into like a nicer direction, just because it's not like as like it's not something like super big tied to the large scale plot. It's like a personal character's plot. So I'm hoping that works well for her. I'm hoping it definitely kind of works in her favor. Like maybe he recorded like a lot of like his personality and memories and stuff in the ship, and then they can put that information into a robot body, and then they can just kind of be together. I don't know. I'm hoping on that when it comes to that little side story that it turns out good. I'm hoping that it goes in their favor, and we can at least have a smile in the short run. I mean, Hiroshima does like to make some sad backstories, but I don't know. I definitely want this robot to be happy. But I definitely really like the fact that it was mentioned that the treasure like emits ether and it seemingly has like a power source, because each of these treasures that exist are partly what lead to Mother, probably give coordinates to her. I still think, from my guess, it's like each of them combine into like a machine that can like track Mother wherever she is in the universe. Because I don't think she's in one spot. I think she's constantly traveling. But like say like she like constantly gives off a ping of some kind. Like is it a specific frequency or code or whatever that you have to have all these machines in order to find. And once you have them all, once you have all these treasures, combine them, it's able just to track her. So if like you put it into your ship, you'd be able to see, okay, this is where she is. We're able to keep an eye on her. If she moves, we'll know, kind of thing. I think that would be really cool. But I also really like the fact that like when it was mentioning how the one that was at this temple powered up all of the robots and the androids while it was still there, which means it is something that can be utilized like a weapon or some form of power up or anything rather. You obviously can get your thoughts towards when it comes to an extremely powerful artifact, because that means anybody who obtains one of these is also going to have like either a pretty powerful weapon, or maybe it get like upgrades one of their abilities. It's like, imagine there's like one that was like, oh yeah, it it makes your range of your ether gear like 10 times or something, and then Shiki gets, and then bam, just an instant upgrade, something like that. But obviously, like, I don't think it'll be that specific. But I mean, just one that's like, yeah, it's a massive AoE power supply. Like, that's going to be useful as hell. Maybe that's how Poseidon like rose to power, as he obtained this thing. But we're still getting some information from them. Like, I like Laguna showing up. Dude, I wish he said yes at being Shiki's friend. Like, this guy, people seem to like Laguna in the fan base. Like, I think it's just because he's got this kind of like pretty cool design. He's got a pretty good ether gear, and he generally seems like a nice guy. I think he generally seems like a nice dude. So I'm interested to see how exactly he kind of plays out in the story. I'm alright if he doesn't join the crew, but if he's kind of like an ally, somebody that's like, oh yeah, we can call him. You know, we have his contact. We can see if he wants to assist us in whatever it is we're doing. I'm alright with that. Like, I would just like to see this as a reoccurring character. And if he's not he doesn't join the Eden Zero crew, that he's somebody that at least is mentioned every once in a while, because he's got a good ether gear. He definitely knows a lot of information about, I would imagine, just in general. Like, it wouldn't surprise me. Like, if he's the element for the Draken Joe, he probably knows about all of the other Arasion Seis Galactica, and probably knows somewhat about the Arasion Seis Interstellar. But like, he decides, he's like, okay, I'll help you. They just need to make Shiki cry. Which says that there's like a bug on Shiki's shoulder. I also really like the part where like her clothes started melting off, and she's like, oh, it's fine as long as I'm a sorceress. As long as my face is covered, I'm pretty much good. And then Shiki's just like, you're not wearing the mask you always wear, and she got like really embarrassed. But while they have to get Shiki to cry, she just pretty much tells him there's a bug on his shoulder, and he freaks out, gets turned into water, starts rushing through the fire, and then gets out on the other side. Just pulls right through the firewall and gets into like this much more well kept open side of this temple. And from there, it's like there's remnants of Mother's ether. So I'm wondering if Mother is like an alien, or if she's like this, just an ether entity. Like, if she's just fully made up of ether. Like, if she's just a raw ether being. Like, maybe she's where ether comes from, or something. I don't know. It's obviously still a complete mystery. But the fact that her ether remnants from centuries ago still are kind of like exist here from a artifact that was related to her, not even like her in general, but just from this artifact, is really impressive. And I didn't expect this part at all, like at the end, for her to form, because I'm wondering if this means if you get to where any of these treasures are kept. Like if you, regardless if you're a Shiki, you're just a character and you go there. You get to wherever it's kept, even if it's still not there anymore. Do you get to talk with Mother? I think that's really cool because it means anybody that's actually searching for her is going to have progress at finding out about her, which again is really cool. It gives like an extra sense of just understanding their drive, because from their side, so here's Mother, and you're like, oh, we don't know whether or not she's real or not. Who knows how this is going to go out? And then you decide to search for her. You finally find one of these clues, and you not only get confirmation she exists, but she talks to you. Which, again, like, leaving off in this chapter, very big stuff to kind of look at and gauge going into next week. So, definitely looking forward to that. Really looking forward to seeing where this all kind of like plays towards and what comes of it. Because she's definitely got to give some good information. I don't think she's just going to reveal everything, but she's probably going to give something towards like Shiki, maybe a hint towards his backstory, as well as maybe a hint towards some bigger secret in the series, something we just don't know about yet. Maybe it's something to do with the bigger plot. But either way, because there's got to be more than just finding Mother. I feel like that's only part of it, and there's going to be some form of mysterious event that is going to start being foreshadowed at some point, and then it'll be like, oh, Mother knows the events this, like, I don't know, like a chronophage swarm unleash or something. Maybe where chronophages come from and how to stop them. I don't know. Either way, though, comment below. Tell me what you think about this chapter. Tell me what your thoughts are about everything that was revealed, and I'd really appreciate if you thumbs up the video from the like button, subscribe button, and check out my other videos. Other than that, I appreciate everybody who's already subscribed. I thank you all for listening. Bye.